Next, please. Uh, First one, my name is Cesar Rojas, and I'm going to start with the differentiation of products and services. The value proposition and differential attractiveness of Saga Falabella is a centralization of the client in all these actions. In 2001, Saga Falabella became one of the first department stores to venture into the cities of the interior of Peru. It began its expansion in the north, entering Trujillo, Chiclayo, and Piura. Nowadays, Saga Falabella is a department store with the largest presence outside the capital, fulfilling its objective of reaching more and more Peruvians by making changes according to the needs of its customers. Most department store revenue is from fashion sales. That is why Saga Falabella has a range of exclusive brands such as Denim Lab and Basement. In addition, to respond to the arrival of fast fashion brands such as Saga, Saga Falabella implement a strategy that seeks to increase the permanent placement of its store collections. Currently, in the context of the pandemic, the company has been recognized for being one of the main promoters of e-commerce in the region, as well as for seeking the integration of physical and virtual sphere. Next, please. Market segmentation. Saga Falabella implements a segmentation strategy since its products are customized to satisfy the specific needs of its clients of each group to which it is directed. If we look at the sale of fashion items, which generates the majority of income from department stores, we can see that exclusive brands are aimed to different consumer profiles. For example, Denim Lab is a John Street style clothing brand for men and women. Basement, a brand for men and women with the latest fashion trends in the world, adapted to low-cost garments. Another one are Cipila, which is a young brand exclusively for women, and University Club, a brand for men and women with college style garments. Marcus Figan, omni-channel manager of the Saga Falabella, stated that the department store maintains an orientation toward millennials, since in 2021 they will make up the 75% of the economical active population. Next.
Hi teacher, my name is Arturo Alvarado. Well, what distinctive competence do your company have? Is efficiency, quality, innovation, responsiveness to customer, or a combination of these factors the main driving force in your company? Well, Falabella has been gaining ground in the market based on its experience as a retail business. This has allowed it to expand their operation by opening new stores or expanding existing ones. Another strategy that it reflects the distinctive competence of Falabella are the sales modalities they manage. One of them is the green sales modality that consists the sale of Falabella directly sold from Falabella customer to from Falabella supplier to Falabella customer. Falabella pursues efficiency, quality, innovations, responsiveness to customer. In the previous module, we talked about Falabella efficiency as quality in product and service. And on the other hand, if we talk about Falabella innovation, they seek to reach the customer in different ways, either through mobile apps or acquiring digital platforms such as Linear. Next, please.
Okay, my name is Alexandra Angelica Egas, and I'm going to talk about first about the business model of the company and the business level strategies. First, the business model is the core strategy of the company. It adapts to the stage in which the company is from in life cycle to ensure of largest share of the market. For our company, the strategy will be differentiation. It has a high amount of competitors and high demand. The company looks for innovative ways of differentiation, especially now in the company because the company is in the maturity stage, where the increase of sales start to slow down, and now the company must maintain their share with the strategy. Especially now, the increase of connectivity, electronic banking, and particularly due to the quarantine and COVID-19, There has been a greater tendency to shop online, and this has been an opportunity for Saga Falabella to innovate in this area. At the corporate level, also, Falabella presents a linked relationship with diversification strategy, where its business is related to the credit system behind. They also look at the diversifying through a bank, sharing existing processes and databases, and lowering the learning curve. Next, please. The advantages and disadvantages associated with this business model and these strategies. Some of the advantages of having the differentiation strategy are it creates value to the company, it also develops the brand loyalty, and this also consolidates their share of the market and earnings. Lastly, since COVID-19, the differentiation, especially for the focusing innovation through online services, has become a competitive advantage for the company. On the other hand, the differentiation strategy implies a big investment in research and development, resources, time, and energy, which can be impact in the overall price of the products and the project, profit margins, which, well, since the revenue increases are not always guaranteed. Next, please.
Good evening, teacher. I will talk about the point 5.6. Is your company a member of the strategic group in an industry? If so, which one? So Falabella had to make its way through other sectors to generate alliance that will later acquire them in their entirety. This is seen in their brands like Sodimac, Totus, Falabella, Banco Falabella that are positioned throughout several countries such as Peru, Argentina, Colombia, Brazil, Uruguay, and Mexico. Adding among the most recent purchase that acquisition of Linio to their portfolio of brands. Then I will talk about how could you improve your business model and strategy to strengthen your competitive advantage. The proposal for which they are now going to focus more will be made in Linio, which is a field in which they still do not handle very well, which will requires a lot of investment in technology so that they provide a quality service, improvement in products that are of very good quality, thus making consumer loyal to this new system that is beginning in South America.
Okay, my name is Cristina Castillo. I'm going to talk about the industry level. We know that there are four types of industry level index: the life cycle, embryonic, growing, mature, and decline. If we talk about Saga Falabella, we can determine that it is a mature industry, which already has a stable space within the market. If we are talking about a mature industry, we understand that this industry revolves around understanding the environment and adapting to market developments in order to preserve its profitability and not reach the state of decline. As mentioned about, Saga Falabella has a great level of adaptation, as for example in the strategies used lately. Saga Falabella has been adapting to electronic commerce and the implementation of omnichannel, so it can be understood that the fact that Saga Falabella is in a mature stage means that it must continue to employ new strategies and innovation to stay in that area. Next, please.
Hi teacher, my name is Fiore Encalada. I will talk about how Saga Falabella has been keep their business in the top level. So first of all, they have diversified their products. This way they can satisfy the necessities of a lot of people and also of their loyal customers. Also, they have been involved in the e-commerce, as we said in the last presentation. They also have been involved in the now called fund commerce, this being that they have created their own app where they sell direct their products. This way, they can connect direct to their customers.
Hi, teacher. My name is Mauricio Fukue, and I'm going to explain this point. What new strategies would you advise your company to pursue to increase its competitive advantage? Falabella's strengths are innovation and quality. Now, the strategies to implement to maintain and increase this over the long term are the following. First, update digital media every 6 months. This is in order to maintain a fresh content for the consumers, reduce the margin of error by 5% by the end of the next year with the data of this year. Shorten the response time and solution to our clients in 1 or 2 business days, less for the next year in relation to the current waiting days in 2020. Next, please. Well, on the basis of this analysis, do you think your company will be able to maintain the competitive advantage in the future? Why or why not? The company, Saga Falabella, does have the capacity and the potential to maintain and even increase its competitive advantage since it has the resources, the financing, technology, and human capital of the highest level to be able to achieve its objectives. The human capital of Saga Falabella, together with our resources, since we are a large company with a lot of participation in the market, not only locally but globally, this gives the tools to increase the competitive advantage in the future. Thank you.
Okay, for the dominant product technology used in the industry in which our company, Saga Falabella, is based off, most technology is used in the industry. Is related to making online channels due to the increase of electronic commerce. It's not just applications or gadgets or enterprise systems. Nowadays, it is personalized experience, highly interactive engagement, and convenience to require superior digital means. The most common products in the current environment are machine learning for data-driven experience, which is used to understand the customer priorities and store in-store automation to take care of the low priority tasks and provide the right technology tools to enable associates to engage consumers productively. Next, please.
Okay, there are technical standards for the area of commerce and shopping centers, being, for example, 8.70 of the legal standards. This article applies to commercial buildings. For example, article number 1 says a commercial building is the one destined to carry out activities whose purpose is the commercialization of goods and service. This standard is complemented by the standards of the specific regulation that for sanitary buildings, there are corresponding standards. Between this sector, Saga Falabella is in the shopping center category. The article tells us that it is the set of commercial premises that integrate into a building or a complex of buildings under a planning and developed project according to the of goods and service and carry out in the independent business management. Next, please.
Okay, hi teacher. Now I'm going to talk about the attributes of the customers. So first of all, the question asks which one are the customers of Saga Falabella. After an investigation, we can determine that they are the early majority client. This means that these customers, they analyze the product before they buy it, but at the same time, they are really practical about what they bought. Also, they accept changes, like for example, a color of a product, a brand. They really don't mind. They just want the product to be useful. Also, they look at the advantages and disadvantages and depending on the product. Not all of them are obviously the same. And obviously, you can compare, for example, a car with horsepower or not. Like I said in the last slide, they have been involved in the phone business, the phone market. So this is like a really a strong point these days because they sell direct to the customers with not third party involved. And they also can keep in track of each customer, what they buy, what they prefer. So they can send in messages to them and say, hey, maybe you want this or not.
Okay, for the diffusion of the dominant technology in the industry and what are the reasons or the forces for this diffusion, these dominant technologies that we have been talking about are growing in a rapid way due to two main forces. First, the improvement of the areas where Falabella works have improved the technology used for customer shopping experience because of high competition. Some of the examples of high competition globally are Alibaba and Amazon, who have really big sales using only online channels. Another force are the consumers, which see technology in the retail sector as a more visible quality, since now the users make use of it constantly. The habits and behaviors of the customer have evolved quickly, therefore the machine learning that we have been talking about earlier has been an important role in the analysis of the large amounts of consumer data to make a more personalized product or service. Also, in the future, the fifth generation network technology, 5G, will likely play a key role or a more important role in the digital aspirations of a real world application for a better customer experience affecting digital engagements and analytics. Next, please.
Okay, teacher. The 7.5 is for where is the dominant technology in your industry on its S curve, and are alternative competing technologies being developed that might give rise to a paradigm shift in your industry. So internet sales in South America in the last 20 years have been growing a lot and can be located at the inflection point of the S curve because it is still trying to position itself in all South America. We have Amazon being a leader that constantly invests in improvements and change in its technology. That is why it is the largest online store at the moment, since its web service provides greater ease in the search for products, facilitating many payment methods with the buyers can purchase their products, in addition to providing facilities to companies that sell their products on Amazon. Next, please.
Okay, Saga Falabella has a strict code of ethics, which they try to respect and implement every day. Between this code of ethics, an important factor is to respect the intellectual and industrial property. This specifies that Saga Falabella is an innovative company that promotes the creativity of its own brand products, as well as the products acquired from third parties. This obliges them to respect intellectual property rights with strict supervision and ethics, as well as penalty if the event that intellectual property rights are violated by either partner. Next, please.
Well, is your company creating value or lowering the cost of value creation by realizing local location economies, transferring distinctive companies abroad, or realizing cost economies from economies of scale? If not, does it have the potential to? Well, Falabella creates value through its various product lines in non-traditional channels, and also they are one of the most active companies in e-commerce, creating a strategic advantage over traditional retail companies. Also, Falabella creates value through economies of position, since it has presence in the most important countries in South America. and they have the facility to transmit information and reducing costs. Next, please. How responsive is your company to difference among nations? Does it vary its product and marketing message from country to country? Should it? Yes, Falabella offers the same quality of products in all countries they operate. However, the way in which its customer receive the message is different depending of the country. For example, marketing strategies applied in an announcement in Falabella in Chile are not the same as those applied in Peru to, for example, promote a female product on Mother's Day. So Falabella takes into account the characteristics of its customers, depending of the culture, depending of the country, and the variation that exists depending of the market also, as well as the reception their products have according of the national holidays, events, or amongst others. Please, sorry. Next, please.
Well, now, what are the cost pressures and pressure for local responsiveness in the industry in which your company is based? The cost pressures are the cost of importing, the freight, the custom duties, the materials, and the workforce here in Peru, right? In addition to the cost of maintenance of premises and expenses of trained personnel for attention. The pressures for local response focus on increasing profitability by personalizing the goods and services of a company so that they can offer a good product according to the taste and preferences of the different national markets. Next, please. Okay. What strategy is our company pursuing to compete globally? In your opinion, is this the correct strategy given cost pressures and pressure for local responsiveness? And the strategy that Falabella is following right now, and always was following, is the sale of high quality products in a low price with a lot of platforms in which the customers can buy and see these products. For example, Barraza Diaz said that an important factor is that Falabella also owns shopping centers and therefore can greatly block the entry of new sectors or new rivals. In addition, the foreign companies that try to enter lacked local strategic partners who knew the operation of the market and the behavior of the national consumer. No one of these companies that entered in the country entered with significant volumes and therefore did not achieve the necessary cost advantage to compete. So Falabella have a strong point in this case, because in all the countries that Falabella is, have a lot of participation in the market, and Falabella can use this knowledge in several countries. So, for example, if Falabella learns something in Chile, is going to apply it in Peru and modify it to the national market. Thank you.
Okay, the entry mode to foreign market. As mentioned before, South Falabella have the backing of its Chilean shareholder, a group with a large presence in South America and Mexico. Falabella entered these international markets through the implementation of two strategies, acquisition and joint venture. The advantage of the acquisition is that it gives the company the full control over operations in different countries, which is needed if it's going to engage in a global strategic coordination. An example of this occurred in 1995 when Falabella Group acquired the majority of the shares of Saga. On the other hand, in a joint venture, each partner can generate great benefits that neither of them could obtain alone. Also, the foreign company can benefit from the knowledge about the host country of the local partner. However, a disadvantage is that this strategy does not give you the full control over the subsidiaries. The example is in Mexico. The Falabella Group has an understanding agreement with Mexico's Soriana, owner of the second largest supermarket chain in that country, to develop a chain of home improvement stores and financial services businesses. Well, that is all for tonight. Thank you, teacher.